What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of, what do we call this again, Brando? The Glass GPT. Yeah,
Glazer's podcast talk.
the first two podcasts were awesome, but we have a special guest today coming from north of the border, Mr. Ryan Shoemaker. And today we're going to be discussing customer service and pet peeves. Oh, we even got, what do you got there? Put on a little hoodie. Oh, it's an interesting Christmas hat, Brando. I like that.
It's my wife's. I was like, "Do you have a Santa hat?" She's like, "Yeah." And I just put it on. It just felt appropriate.
It's an all white one too. It's kind of trendy. I kind of like it.
Right?
Yeah. Shout out to your wifey. Okay.
Yeah.
Good job.
Ryan, how you doing up there?
Cold, getting ready for Christmas, but doing wonderful. How are you guys down south?
Oh, good. You have the Christmas spirit?
As much as I'm going to get, but we're looking forward to the break and ramping up for an awesome 2026.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on this episode, Brandon and I wanted to discuss with you, plus we have our own hot takes on this customer service. I guess I'll lead out with this. One of the things that prevents me from having the ultimate Christmas spirit, not only at home, but at work, is this time of year, customers that call in, there's this old saying is your biggest problem's your biggest problem. And when some of these customers call in asking for either a repair or glass work the week before Christmas, they had all year to get this done, but because family's coming in, they want to rush it. I think like all logic and emotional intelligence and just overall courtesy has a tendency to go out the window. And I think it's behoove of us as professionals to kind of as much as we like to just say, are you fucking stupid? Like, no, we can't do that because we know not only do we want to get this job, we want to get all their future work. So you have to temper, I think, which is a good pun intended. You have to temper those emotions to try and deal with that. What is your hot take on customer service in general, kind of post-COVID, and then in particular, the Christmas season?
Well, let's try and use it as an education point. Speed beats perfection, especially this time of year. So we have to use it as an educational point. We want to show up as best as we can and perform to our best, but educate that it may, again, if this is a repair, we're going to repair with the expectation that this may be a temporary fix, and this is to get you by until the new year. So we're doing this as a favor to you to accommodate your company, for example. I think you're going to come out looking hopefully like a superstar for that future work down the road. You're accommodating, you're behooving of the help, and hopefully getting something out of it. It's hopefully reciprocating work. Speed lead will be the key for future work down the road. That's my take on the customer service, especially when it's that crunch time. It's all about the speed. And this is the one time where I think the speed does beat the perfection. That's my take on it.
It sounds like when you hear that, you're managing their expectations right on the forefront, which I think is a great idea.
Absolutely. Education is still the key component on this.
Yes.
It has to be put on the table.
I just had this happen very recently. By the way, I agree with everything that you're saying. And in my opinion, when it comes down to crunch time and we can only take care of so many people, we're going to give our custom home builders and our designers and our repeat clients the best service. And if random homeowners have to call and they have an emergency, they're the ones that we would actually push to the back because it's all about reciprocating. And often the home builders, they have clients and the designers as well. They have clients that want to get their projects in before Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, pretty much all of them. But Christmas is the worst one. So we always have to buckle down and make it happen. We all got to, put in our work. I'll go out and do installs. Everybody goes out and does repairs. But at the end of the day, we're taking care of the repeat clients first. And actually, I just had this happen a couple of times. So I had a client that needed a couple of shelves and some window inserts, custom home builder, of course, at the last minute, of course. because they want to move in by Christmas. And I tell everyone exactly the same thing. Like, do you think you can get it in by Christmas? And I'm like, I think that we can, but hear my words. Like, this is not a promise. Like, I will try, right? And so I tell everyone sort of the same thing. But then what they end up doing, which is a pet peeve of mine, is that they'll call, and the scheduler, he's my buddy, his office is right behind that door, and I'll hear them, and they'll say, Brandon said you can get it in by this date. And then sometimes it pisses me off to the point where I have to walk in there and be like, hey, so and so, you're on speaker. I can hear you. I told you we would try. But at the end of the day, we'll probably get it done anyway. But I just at least want to make them feel bad for putting the fire to our feet.
You know,
Yeah.
we used to have to deal with that because you tell a customer 2 to 3 weeks and they're calling at 13 days and telling the scheduler that we kind of eliminated all those phone calls when we started setting the install date when we sold a job. We're lucky enough to be able to do that with the manufacturing. That alleviated a lot of phone calls. Let me switch the gears to this. So we all know customers can be erratic when they need something right away. I've also been dealing with, and this year more than most, I won't say what company it is. I won't say it's just 3 letters or anything, but the customer service from some of our suppliers this time of year can also sometimes fall through the cracks. And we are repeat customers, Brandon, to your point. So have both of you, maybe Ryan first, how are your vendors been treating you? Have they been somewhat accommodating? Because I'm sure they're getting it from every angle as well. Are you finding that they're treating you the way you want to be treated, or at least communicating the way you'd want to be communicated to?
For the most part, yes. We've had some issues with some suppliers changing invoicing systems and different things, and it's been over promising some timelines that didn't meet criterias, um, not missing or not making the shipping dates, products sitting on a dock, or we've gone to pick up and it's been 20 different packages and guys have been waiting 2 hours at a dock waiting for product. Um, Again, we're not going to paint all our vendors or suppliers with the same brush. We have really good, phenomenal suppliers that truly are partners, and they, they contribute to our successes just as much as we do. But we've had some struggles with others as well, and yeah, it's from the client to the vendors, we've had issues, and I'm sure you guys have as well. And I've heard horror stories throughout the industry where people have given up on certain suppliers and switched all their business to other manufacturers, other vendors, or have gone a completely different route altogether and gone private label, for example, or different criteria. So I'd like to hear your take on what you guys have run
Let me ask
into.
Brandon this question, because I hear what you're saying. I understand. I'm so, and you guys are privy to all the information I am. Like, we know this time of year it's hectic. Everybody's busy. Whether you're a vendor or glass suppliers like us, we're all busy. I think it comes down to the communication. I had a vendor just recently that we've been promised several dates. And when you go out and promise a several date, it's going to be there, it's going to be there. We're so anxious to let our customers know, because that's the right thing to do, that if that date doesn't get mixed, we've just lost all credibility. Now, when I go back to that vendor and say, what happened? And you're just getting cockamamie excuses. That doesn't, to me, that's not a very good relationship. I think a lot of sales reps fail to communicate at a high level and put a lot of stock into that. I want to hear from my vendor, even if they don't have information, because I hear this a lot. Well, I haven't contacted you in a week because I haven't heard anything. I think a lot of people out there don't understand the fear of the unknown is the number one stressor a human being can go through. Like, if one of your kids was kidnapped and you weren't hearing from anybody, that stress that goes on your body is almost no different then when you have a level of expectation to hear from somebody and they're just not getting back, I just assume my sales rep call me and say, hey, just so you know, I'm on this. I didn't hear anything today. I'm going to call you back again tomorrow, because now that'll put me at ease for at least 24 hours. And I don't go through this anxiety riddled, like, because
Yeah,
our brain just goes to the worst case scenario. They don't give a fuck. They forgot about me.
yeah.
Brandon,
So
how do you feel about that?
a wise man once told me, no news, good news, or bad news, you always answer the phone. It was the owner of the company that I used to work for. When he first brought me into sales, he told me these are the only two things that you got to do: always answer the phone, always communicate, and always do what you say that you're going to do. The rest of it is like basically nothing by comparison. And I followed that to the path that I'm on. But yeah, to your point, I do have a lot of suppliers, hardware suppliers that have been letting us down like hardcore. And I get it. You know, there's tariffs, there's COVID. But when we just don't hear anything, or when the receiving or shipping managers kind of give us an attitude because for not having incomplete orders, that makes us want to complete to a whole nother supplier that's out of state. In fact, we order our laminated glass out of state because everyone in this state has like horrible communication, horrible customer service. So shout out to Dillmeyer Glass. If you guys are listening, we get our laminated glass here in Colorado from Dillmeyer because they do what they say that they're going to do. They're not the cheapest, not the most expensive, but quality is good and they always deliver. In fact, they actually shit out a bunch of laminated glass for an elevator surround, and we just received it today, even though we asked them to jump their lead time because our customer asked us to jump our lead time, even though our customer, here we go again, had like 6 months to basically, pull the trigger, but they delayed it to
Right.
the very last second. And now they tell me, oh, the dude's, wife is in a wheelchair. She needs the elevator to go upstairs. And I'm sympathetic to that. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, dude, we could have ordered this like 6 months ago. You'd have had your glass months ago if and it doesn't matter. It's out of my hands. So shout out to the suppliers that help us take care of our customers. But yeah, I mean, there is a supplier that communicates very well. I won't say names, but these guys right here.
Yeah,
You,
FH
you,
sheet's good. I feel
I
I
like these
love
guys.
my FH sheet rep too. That's the
Mhm.
one thing I like about them, that I have somebody that I have a red phone that I can call and that I can count on. I might not always get the answer I want, but they at least call me and communicate that so I can deliver information down to the end user. There used to be a restaurant that I go to. I no longer, just because I moved away from there. The food on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe a 6. But I went to this place twice a week because I got treated like royalty, because the way they communicate with me. If I ever need anything, I call. Whatever you need, the service, the communication was so good that I was willing to tolerate subpar over here. And I feel like a lot of sales reps out there don't put enough stock into it. They think that, well, if I'm going to call with bad news, they're going to go somewhere else. On the contrary, if you
Right.
don't call, I assume it's already the worst news. I just need to know.
Yeah.
Ryan, what are
Let me ask
some
you a
other?
question though on
Yeah,
that
yeah,
topic.
yeah.
Based on the feedback we had on this customer service, in the grand scheme of things, is the failure on this, is it a people failure or is it a systems failure at these companies?
So
Well,
I
it's a
think it's a
combination of
little bit of
both.
both. So I
Yeah.
think that some of these companies are so massive that the sales is like disconnected from production, right? So I think it's part of a systems failure. That's just an outside perspective.
I would agree with that at a 30,000-foot view. However, it's 100% people, because we all go through transitions. As you grow, you bring in new CRMs, or you bring in new ownership, or an equity firm comes in and you have this transition period. That's always going to happen. But a sales rep needs to be fully aware of that. I'm like, okay, I got 100 customers in this region. I know I can already tell there's some fucking problems going on with this new system or whatever the hell it is. That shouldn't alleviate them from picking up. I know their mouth and phone still works. And so why not get out ahead of it? Hey, Ryan, we got a new system, got a new general manager. Fuck, some of the orders they're just not coming through as fast as possible. So I'm hoping that you'll give me a little grace and patience. I'm going to communicate when I get a new order. I'm going to acknowledge I received it, and I will make sure that I follow it through. But rest assured, I'm going to get you your order. I guarantee you'd be a lot more tolerant, or at least, again, temper your emotions on going to another company if they communicate it to you, because these
Yeah,
problems are going to happen.
yeah, it's better to be proactive. And so we have a supplier that's here in town that we, they've kind of been screwing up lately because the GM got fired and he's taking all kinds of people to the next glass company. It's a big one, the biggest one to, Anyway, we ordered a bevel mirror because we only order certain things from them, and they basically blew us off for like a month. And finally we got fed up and our office managers had to go call and cancel the order and order from somewhere else because yes, maybe they got new leadership, maybe all this stuff happened, and it is what it is, but we didn't find that out until weeks later after we called to find out, like, where's my order. It's always best to be proactive with that information so that I can set our expectations, right?
The system can't teach empathy, and that's did the system fail or did the people fail?
The people.
The people.
Yeah. Yes, because systems are going to change. You're going to cut. Companies are going to grow. Companies are going to downsize. So the systems are going to change.
Yeah.
But the way that, human beings have respiratory systems that breathe, they also have emotions, the limbic system. Our human emotions aren't going to change. And so if we're situationally aware of this, we already know this is a constant. Let's get out in front of it. Hey, we're going through a systems change right now. There's probably going to be some hurdles, but you can call me after every order and I'll personally look it up and acknowledge that it went through. And I'm here for you if you're feeling any discomfort. I would be elated to get a phone call like that.
Right. Even if your lead times are 2, 3, 4 days longer, just
Yeah,
to know that
absolutely.
there's someone on the other end that's there
That cares,
for
or
you.
at
That
least
cares.
it appears that they care. And I feel like I'm not, again, because when you don't have any news, our brain automatically goes to the worst case scenario. It's discontinued. It's out of stock. They never got the order. Oh, what do I do now? It's just, it's pandemonium.
We're not value engineering now. Now we're quality engineering.
Oh,
Yeah, and the worst thing you could do is ignore those calls, even though you have bad news to give. The worst possible thing you could do is not answer it or not.
Well, how many
reply to that.
times have you put a deposit on a project and then been ghosted after you follow up?
Right?
Can you imagine that? Like, that, put yourself in the customer's shoes. They give you a deposit and then they don't hear from you. Like, they're automatically think you stole from them.
Yeah.
That's what they're thinking. So what are some other pet peeves that we have in the industry in the way of customer service? I'll tell you one of mine. He brought up FHC. I took a tour of their place maybe 2 years ago when I was out in Montana. And the one thing I noticed that I really like, they don't have any automation on the phone calls. I like talking to a human. I don't care if I got to get transferred to different departments. I like a human being picking up, not you're 14th in line where got an overload of customers. I don't want to hear that. And in FHC, in their kind of like, I don't know what you call it, not a boiler room, but like in their like dugout where all the people are, there's a TV screen, and every sales rep in there, it holds them accountable. They got their names on the board. How many calls they've answered during the day, how many outbound calls. And so no managers even really got to do anything because your name is up on that TV screen for everybody to see. Like, hey, Brandon's only taking one phone call and Ryan's taking 30 today. Like, you already know your ass is in trouble. Nobody's got to come tell you your ass is in trouble.
Yeah.
So we just signed up for this new system. It's not necessarily an automated system, but this company called PHMG, they do audio branding. And because we're a small company, right? And our office phone, it's basically a cell phone that sits on that desk over there. And then there's only 3 or 4 of us that have our cell phone numbers. And so this new system, we're gonna have like branding and like messaging. So when somebody picks up and calls, they're gonna hear a nice song, and like kind of random messages that explain what we do. But we set it up so we're that, our office manager, Destiny, she's the one that picks up the phone most of the time. But if it rings 3 times and she doesn't pick up, it's automatically you go to the next girl. And if it rings 3 more times and she doesn't pick up, it'll go to me. And so then all this is like basically like the screen, like the board. It's all controlled out of an app and everybody can see everything. So I never had anything like that before, but it sounds really cool just for the purpose of someone being always able to pick up the phone. Not that we have a problem with that, but sometimes she's on the line with somebody else, and then it goes to voicemail, and then the customer calls me back, and we're just kind of constantly playing phone tag. Where with this new system, we could actually transfer to anybody's cell phone, including the guys. So I don't know. That's pretty cool. I think that's going to improve the customer service experience when you call us.
Yeah, well, it's just nice to have a human answer the phone rather than it ring and go to a voicemail, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So one of my pet peeves that I was thinking about earlier, because we talked about this last week, and I'm kind of a chill dude. I don't really get pissed off about a lot of things, but I've really started thinking about it. And one of the things that kind of bothers me, it doesn't really bother me, but it kind of upsets me a little bit, is like when I first go to a job site, and this happens like clockwork almost every single time, and I meet a general contractor for the first time, or a designer, probably even more designers for the first time, and they kind of like dismiss me and like disregard me, and just kind of like are rude and mean and blah blah blah. But that happens every single time. Like the second that I open my mouth and the words that come out and I have all the answers, I have all the pictures, they immediately flip, right? And then like clockwork, next month they'll be calling me and asking me questions, right, about this or that. So I think it's just like contractors and designers, when they first meet you, they kind of like dismiss you and disregard you until you basically prove yourself to them. So just the way that they treat you in the beginning, I guess that's the pet peeve I'm talking about here.
I think that's humans in general. I know I got that for a lot. The same thing. We go to job site meetings because the shower door, for the most part, was like literally lipstick on the. It was the last thing, and they're like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, we got to talk about the shower door." But then, as the marketing and the recognition and respect of like, okay, well, I can't close on the house, and I got $2 million check coming to me until the shower enclosures are in because it was on the plans, and that has to be done. Now all of a sudden, we become an important component. Um, I think that's just a. I think those people or how do you say it, high on their own supply, because that's not the right. If you're trying to get something out of somebody else, whether it's quick lead time, high quality, or better price, the last thing you want to do is fucking look down at you and think that you're beneath that. It's not the right way to treat individuals. However, a lot of people do that. I when I recognize that right out of the gate, Ryan will know where I'm going with this. I still go to jobs where that happens. And the second, you can almost feel it coming. And soon as, before they even say anything to me, I'll look at them and I'm like, seems like you're having a tough day. And it automatically kind of puts them in check because I know what they were about to do. They were about to kind of be passive aggressive, almost dismissive. And by me acknowledging whatever that negative thought is in their head, kind of sits them back and like, no, I haven't had bad. Or, yeah, I've just been getting kicked in the ass. And we're like, well, good news for you is I'm going to turn that upside down and we're going to kill this project. And you can almost see their human behavior change instantly. And I've come to accustom that I look forward to dealing with those assholes because the hit of dopamine that they get when you're actually able to flip their demeanor actually makes them way more collaborative. You know that feeling when you lose your wallet and you struggle to find it, and 10 minutes later you find it, or in this case, you lose your phone, which to me, I'd rather lose my wallet than my phone.
Lose the wallet.
Yeah. But you know that feeling that you get when you find it? It's like that instant like jubilation, like, oh man, that felt good. You can almost invoke that in somebody else if you're able to recognize that demeanor that Brandon that you were talking about. And selfishly, it feels good to flip somebody like that, but they instantly become a lot more collaborative person. They don't know why. They just know they feel better in the moment. It's not something that's ever talked about or discussed, but I think it's a real thing if you're able
No,
to pick up on it.
it is a real thing, and I know exactly what you're saying because I basically flip it 110% of the time. We all have our methods, but uh, yeah. So I guess it's a pet peeve, but it's also like a rush to try
An
to beat that.
opportunity.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a pet peeve because it's rude. It's just rude. Ryan, give us one of your pet peeves.
It kind of goes along with what you're saying here, but it's like when you walk into some of these openings, or you're going to measure a shower or wine cellar, pick the opening. I don't care. But you've already got someone who's already on guard. They're, pushed against the timeline, and you have a piss poor opening. And then you got this guarded situation. And the first thing you want to do is you want to blame the tile guy or blame the walls. Yeah. And it becomes one of these pissing matches. And the first thing you want to do is blame, blame, blame. But you really need to turn around and start collaborating with solutions, right? And it's the tile guy, or it's the framer, it's the fucking wall, or the floors are out, or this, right? Or some asshole put duct work right through here. Whatever. I mean, pick your scenario. Or the lights in the way. I don't care, right? It's always something, and it's just, this is the pet peeve. It becomes a finger pointing thing, and then back to the drawing, and it's trying to collaborate and trying to, rather than go back on the contract and say, well, you got to rip this out or turn around. How can we turn around and collaborate and spin this around, come out of here looking like a hero? We can't do this the way you drew, but here, let's sit down for 10 minutes, figure out what we can do so you don't have to tear this out, alternate something, and build something that's going to work better than what you planned without running the bill up a whole lot, save you some money on tearing stuff out, and everyone's happy and meet your timeline, right? And just trying to work with them. So I don't,
Yeah.
that's, you try and, again, maybe it's more my dopamine fix where I kind of, run my shoulders back like, yeah, maybe I saved this guy's ass, and, I get the
I think
next
we all
one
do
because
that.
of it.
Yeah, because it's like I almost feel like it's a Rubik's cube because you have like a plan, designers, elevations, and then by the time we actually get there, like you were saying, the tile guy blames the framers, the framer blames the fact that it's a remodel, the contractor blames the existing, like everyone blames each other, or the designer said do that, but at the end of the day, like kind of what like that rush is, I feel like it's like a Rubik's cube, so you don't know it until you're standing in front of the shower and you're looking at it like, okay, this wall has a 1/4 inch hump, this pony wall is a 1/2 inch out. So obviously we can't have a panel here. So you start like calculating in your brain, like, how can I make this work? Like a Rubik's cube. And then like when you piece it together and present it to the client and they're like, oh yeah, thank you. Like, yes, let's do that. I like that. Yeah.
Well,
And
I've
I'm
won,
sure you can like really do that with your FlexiJet. Like I don't even use those.
right.
So I bet you can take that to a whole new level.
I have one contractor that I started working for 2 years ago, like on the commercial side. I did a railing for him, and it was a debacle of a nightmare, but we made it work. And we developed a relationship. And that's what it is. Forget the work. We developed a relationship, and it was a hard relationship to develop. And now to this day, we are sole source contractor that we have the greatest of relationships. And when the drawings come, they come to me and, what do you need from us to make your project work? You're doing the storefront, you're doing the railing, you're doing the glass, whatever the hell it's going to be.
Do the
And we do
plans
3 or
say
4 projects a
champagne
month.
glass?
What's
Do the
that?
plans say champagne glass on the spec now? On some
Well,
of those?
close. But
That's nice.
but yeah, it's just, what do you need from us? How are we going to work? And like, it's right almost from design phase out, how we're going to collaborate and build together. It was a long time getting there, but those are, one of those relationships that we've worked, leaps and bounds to get to. And I wouldn't have it
Yeah.
any other way.
So if they call and say, I need this by Christmas, they're the ones you're gonna be like, you're putting me in a bind, but okay, I'll try.
You
Yeah,
will,
because they appreciate it, and they're gonna
Uh-huh.
their loyalty to you. Yeah, I know it. Some of our best customers started where I was like, man, should we even be doing work for this motherfucker? Like, and and because we got it done, it really changed their demeanor, and then they became so loyal that, yeah, it's like I'm glad that we got through this together. So
I should show you the gift basket they gave us for Christmas
no
this year.
shit.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, they're really
What's their
good to work
name?
with.
What's their name? Let's give them a shout out.
Allcon Contracting.
Out of Toronto?
Just outside, out of like Ayr and Stratford, Ontario.
Do they have a funny accent like you?
We all have funny accents.
Like we have a
Okay.
funny accent to them.
Yeah,
Right?
we do.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll be one of the 51st states sooner or later. Hey,
Right.
Ryan, let me ask you this.
Yeah,
You got any projects, any cool things that you've come across recently this year before the end of the year?
absolutely. So we were working on a project. Well, I'm hoping to work on a project. We are consulting right now with this cool company, and I'm hoping to do this in 2026 right now. It's a company that's like a tech startup, but they've been around for years. They do a lot of stuff in the entertainment industry where they work on a lot of Hollywood movies. They're out of Canada, not far away from us. So they do a lot of things in action films, but they make real life versions of it. So,
What do you mean?
so if you wanted a functional lightsaber, they would make a functional lightsaber. Like they have it, and they have Guinness Book of World Record holding stuff. So the company's called Hacksmith Industries. They're out of Cambridge, and they have requested us to come and look at their facility and modernize it, because right now all of the projects they have built are sitting on the floor. So they have like this 1,500, 2,000 square foot front entrance where all these projects are just sitting on the ground on
So they want to
steel
make what,
costly shelves.
like a big trophy case to store all these
Exactly.
things?
Exactly. Like the John Wick bulletproof suit is sitting
Oh my
on a
God.
shelf. So we want to
That'd be
kind of
sexy for
collaborate
social
with them
media.
and try and
Yeah.
clean this up and give it the proper display it deserves. So
That's awesome. You guys do
Brando, you might have to go up there and film that one in person.
You know what? I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind because I need to help Ryan set up his permanent studio.
Ed,
There you go.
you guys could
So
you
kill
guys
two
could
birds with one
take
stone.
video of you hitting each other's swords.
But whose lightsaber is bigger? His may be longer, but mine's fatter. So it's all good.
Ryan, how did you get that project? How did you get the opportunity for the project?
They reached out to me, and I'm hoping it's because of our branding that we've done. But they found me
You didn't
online.
ask them on that first call how they heard about you?
No, not yet. I'm hoping to dig into that as we start developing a relationship.
Pet peeve. If we were collaborating together during that initial call, I have to know.
You have to know.
How did you hear about? Yeah. Because I always frame it like this. Would you kill me if I ask you one more question? No, not at all. What is it? With all the information on the internet and all the social media and advertisements and people out there, well, why us? What made you? Because if they had, a lot of times, if you frame it that way, the thing that they'll tell you could be massively important. Because what if they said it was that builder that you're just talking about got the name from that builder? Okay, well, now if you got a hiccup during the sales process, you could turn back and reach on your builder to kind of give them a little nudge without you having, hey, I'm just calling to check in.
Yeah.
I feel like it's massively important to know where that's maybe it was a certain type of piece of content. Now you got to have Brando double down on that content.
Yes.
Maybe it was they saw one of your trucks. I don't know. I feel like I have to know on that initial call where the lead came from. It kills me when I don't hear it.
Because it's impossible to track unless you ask.
I always find out. I just didn't ask usually on the first day. I usually ask after I close, but that's a good point. I should ask on the first one.
You should use it as a segue because are you telling me you close every single phone call that comes through?
No, true.
And so if you know that information on the first one, it'll give you more information is power, right? And so it's just a matter of connecting dots. So the more dots you have, the easier it is to connect them all. And plus, I feel like there's this innocuous rapport building when you're asking that. If they're willing to open up and give you that information, they start letting their guard down more. They start feeling more comfortable. And, maybe they tell you something that allows you to have another 5-minute conversation.
That's true. That's a good point.
And it can really help.
Yeah.
So I always like to ask on the first call. I need to know. Have to know.
Yeah, I'm gonna do better about that too. Because guilty. I hardly ever ask as well. I do when I remember, but from this point on, I'm gonna make it a point.
Absolutely. And selfishly, you guys, what
what's
about
crazy?
the 1 out of 10 that says, "Oh, I see you all over LinkedIn. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I get that a lot,
Yes.
but
Let's
it's because I
go.
don't usually take like like most of the people that I talk to, I've already been working with for years because like Ryan, like it takes a long
Yeah.
time to build those relationships. But every once in a while, I get an opportunity to meet a new one, and sometimes they'll tell me like, "Oh, Rodney, gave me your name, or this guy, or that guy, or LinkedIn." Like LinkedIn's a big one. I feel like LinkedIn is like highly, highly underrated. I feel like in the content.
Massively underrated.
Massively.
Grateful for that. Yeah.
I'm back working my LinkedIn and working on new contacts and trying to like be more strategic on what I'm using my LinkedIn for and who I'm connecting with for 2026, who I want to connect with and really hone down and develop those relationships for strategic
I can
connections.
tell you 4 individuals that are in my feed that I currently do business with or have done a transaction with that have never posted a single video. However, they've gone out of their way to make nice comments in my feed. Brandon and I talked about this on our initial podcast where it's so easy for people to hijack. So that's a pet peeve. Pet peeve.
Yes.
Check
Yeah.
this one out. You do a post. If I do a post and someone comes in my feed say, "Oh, if I see you're doing this, if you ever need a cheaper price for delivery or something, you should call us." First of all, I delete that thing and I usually unfollow that individual because they're just
Yeah.
unaware. But identifying the people that you want to do business with and bringing thoughtful comments. I even think I saw a study that said LinkedIn gives the posting person an 8% bump and you a 6% bump if your comment is 6 or more words. Because LinkedIn is about making connections and they feel to make a connection, you have to communicate. And just saying, fist bump or
Not the
fire, that
yeah.
insults fire. That's not enough. And so they reward you when you put a little paragraph and both of you and I already know this. Somebody puts a long, thoughtful comment on one of your posts. It feels good. Let's
Yeah.
just face it, it feels good. So why not be on the other end of that and making the other person that you're trying to court feel good by, posting is important. I can make the argument it's also important to interact with other people's posts.
And maybe more so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
easy.
and not just like a mindless comment, but like really thoughtful.
No,
Really
thoughtful. One
like
that
it's
invokes
obvious that
engagement.
it's not just a
Yes,
bot spamming people, that you're actually calling something out that happened in the video or photo and giving your take on it or perspective, right?
yes. Putting them
Highly, highly important.
over. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then that almost like works out like over time. Like you start to develop a relationship in the comments. Eventually it moves to the DMs and then the conversation continues. In
Water
fact,
beats
like
the rock, and that's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
That one is not as fast, but it's effective. And I can
Yeah.
tell you
So
because I have 4 relationships that we got this year that were these people. I just looked at it. Not one of them's ever made a post, ever, but they comment, and it makes you feel good. And I've when I do business now, I never went to college. I didn't go to the military. So I went from staying at home to living on my own. And so my network of people is on social media. So if I have something that I need that I don't have in my immediate circle, the first thing I do is I go to my social media
Yeah.
and I'm going to request from one of those individuals that have
yeah,
supported me.
and the DMs are very powerful in LinkedIn too. Like I have some suppliers, in fact, I can't remember who it was, but somebody DM'd me on LinkedIn and said, "Hey, we got these products, you can hit me up anytime." And just kind of kept it going over a while. And eventually I bought these from them.
Who
And I
is it?
actually really like these. Dude, I think it's Empoli. Fuck, I can't remember. Now I feel like a jerk off. I cannot remember to save my life. But maybe I'll shout it out in the show notes. But I really like these spigots, man. I don't know if you can see those, but they have
Where are
like
they
these things right
from?
here. They're right here to adjust. Dude, I cannot remember to save my life.
Canada?
I don't know. I'll put it in the show
Because you
notes.
got the ones from Ideal at one point, right?
From what?
Um,
Yeah.
oh,
Keith
You know
did.
ideal.
what? I can just look. I can
Did
just look it
Ideal?
up right now. So
FMF.
Or FMF.
here, hold
That's
on. Go.
right. Yeah, FMF.
I'll look it up right now. You can go ahead and move on, but I'm gonna go into my DMs.
We just
I'll check
installed a
that for
big
you.
job. I've probably sold 3 jobs with his spigots, and it was his persistence on engaging in my social. And I said, you know what? I finally did a video meeting. Pet peeve, pet peeve. When somebody goes into my DMs and they automatically know how they can make your life better. They've never talked to you. They don't know anything about your business. They just know from what they see. So they assume, oh, we have this product service that can make your business better. Go ahead and schedule an appointment, and they put a link to their calendar. So it's like, wait a second. I don't know you, but you're so abrasive that you think you're going to cold call me. And then you want me to book my own appointment on your calendar. I don't even fuck off, dude. No way. but he was persistent in engaging and asking, and we finally got on a video call, and I'm glad we did. We used his products, their products, MFF, in certain scenarios. The price is way more than fair. The thing that I love about the kid, shout out Matt, is I need something. He was off today. He's off today and tomorrow through the holiday, but we were installing a big job. I started posting a little bit. You'll see more of it next day or two. Had a question about something. He's on the chairlift and he's FaceTiming me and he's got me the answer. So I have access. Access is everything. As long as you can communicate, I feel comfortable. And so he does a good job of that.
Yeah. So I found it. It's this guy's name is Sam Luke with Expo Railing, and like you were saying, it's not like just straight up sending a message like a cold call isn't enough. Like it's like you got to start liking stuff, commenting, and eventually when you do make it to the DMs, you can't make it about sales right away. You just gotta ask questions, go back and forth, give comments about the company or the post or whatever it is that they're up to, and don't even try to sell them like in the beginning at all. Eventually that kind of builds momentum, and then you build trust, and then it's okay to ask for the sale or at least give a shot.
That's how it goes. Rapport equals trust equals transaction.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anybody expecting anything extra special from old Saint Nick in the next day and a half, or any requests?
Time off?
Yeah. Are you traveling?
No, we're home. I'm working in between. We're shut down until the 5th. Off.
Oh, no. Oh, wow.
Off. Yeah, off noon on the 24th until the 5th, with just people on call. But I'll be in and out of the office in between. So
what's 5th? The following Monday. So
January 5th is the following Monday.
You shut down tomorrow at noon.
Yeah.
And then for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the following next week.
Following full week.
Ryan, I have to ask, how do you do that? Like, to me, 3 days in the house, and maybe just because I'm a loner and I'm single and my kids are old enough, like they're gone, they're off with their mom. I don't feel like I'm being productive. Like how do you fill that time?
I'm going in. I need to go in. Yeah. So
yeah.
I'm running payroll, and I'm gonna go and do some.
How about you, Brando?
Business
What are you doing for the holidays?
We don't have any like official plans. We're just staying home. We have the white elephant party at my house every year.
Those are
so
fun.
everyone just brings it's fun. I despise Christmas. It's obviously it's for the kids, but I despise trying to find gifts for people that you think they might like. And then it's like this whole weird thing. I've hated it. I've always voiced it. So that's why every year I'm like, just buy a gift for $50, whatever it is. Everyone who comes in walks out with something. But in the meantime, we can hang out, have food, have drinks. But otherwise we're off tomorrow at noon, and then Thursday and Friday, then we come back, and then I think we're off like New Year's Eve the next day or whatever. I often don't even know what days we're actually off. Like people have to tell me like, we're not coming in tomorrow. I'm like, oh shit. So anyway, like when I'm not working, I can literally do any of my glass work from my computer from anywhere. And not only that, but I'm also making content like basically nonstop. So that fills the rest of my time. And I have like a dedicated office at home, like my studio, that I actually like being at more. That's what I do with my time.
I noticed you're not in your studio today. Where do we have the fortunate pleasure of speaking with you at?
So this is the office. Ryan and I record videos here sometime, but this is like a little tiny office. Nothing in it. Like there's a desk next to me where my wife sits. This is where I operate out of the office basically. But I spend about sometimes it's like 60-40 one way or the other on the road or in this office. But really the only time I come here is when I need to use like my big screen that's in front of me when I'm trying to do CAD drawings or like brain work that has to do with computer anything. But otherwise, everything else I can do from my iPad from anywhere.
All right. Well, I think this would be a last question. It'd be a good one to send off on the show. So, Ryan, we'll start with you.
Sure.
Do you have, first of all, do you have any goals yet? It's a two-part for 2026 in the way of what you planning on achieving through social media? And if you do, what are those goals so we can hold you accountable?
For social media goals.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a good question. I would love
because we know how
to.
important social media is for our branding and acquiring new customers. And if you want to grow your business, I don't think there's ever been a tool on this planet that offers more opportunity than social media.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I had great conversations at Glass Build about social media. So I got to learn a lot from the marketing end about it. So to develop goals, I haven't done that yet. Ironically, the last post we just did has really taken off. You're a star in it.
Oh, I love, by the way, I meant to say thank you for doing that. That was hilarious. That was one of the favorite ones that we ever did. That was hilarious.
We got some good ones coming up. Stay tuned.
Yeah, that was funny. And I mean, it actually, as far as the view counts on Instagram, that's been by far the quickest to hit.
Really?
So, yeah.
That's
so far.
awesome.
And as far as
That is so cool.
engagement and new followers, that's been doing the best so far. So
That's unbelievable. Well, I think it's important that you set a goal, whether it's social media or business. I always like going to these bumper sticker sayings that vision drives decision. Like if you
Yeah.
don't have a vision, your decisions day to day aren't going to help get you closer to that. So if you don't have one yet, I think I'd love to know what it is before the end of the year so we can help you achieve that.
absolutely. I want to be, pretty strategic on what it's going to. I could say, let's say 5,000 followers on Instagram or something, and that might be the number. But I would think I want to have a really good strategic goal on how we're going to proceed with it, because I'm really invested in it this year and how we're going to leverage the social media effectively. Like I said, I want to use LinkedIn this year and be strategic with who I connect with and connect with them and the right people. And like we were talking about, using the messaging and DMing the right people and connecting with it. So I'm working on how to do it. I will connect on how we're going to make 2026 and leverage that appropriately. But yeah, it will be a big year for social media for sure. I will have goals before I end the year.
Good for you. Well, sounds like you got fucking plenty of time to think about it. You got 9 days off. Holy shit.
Well.
Brando, what about you?
So in 2026, my goal is to post one YouTube video every week. When I first started, I was doing that, but it was a lot. But I was just getting started. I was still learning, and I kept it going for like a long time. I didn't really see any kind of return, and so I kind of left it in the dust, and I moved on to social media stuff. But in in 2026, I want to focus more on YouTube stuff because it actually enhances the short form. And so my strategy is to focus primarily on the long form and clip out the shorts for the short form, for the talking head stuff specifically, because what we just did right now, it's going to be unlimited shorts for the foreseeable future for all of us, right? And so that's it. That's all I got.
Well, I'm grateful to know both of you. And by the way, all of our relationships, I don't know about you two, but started on social media,
Yeah.
which is kind of like
Isn't that proof that it worked?
serendipitous to the question. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah. What about you? What's your goal for 26?
I've this year unlocked the monetization platform in two of the different platforms. And I want to try and get to the point where I can invoke the Mr. Beast method, where I really want to ramp up my social media to really trigger that monetization. And then what I want to do is I want to take all the money that I get off the monetization and gift it in one way or form or another, whether it be tools or presents for all of our installers out in the field while I'm filming this, unbeknownst to them. You know, they're on a job and I show up, bring them out to the truck, and there's new television or new tools or something that'll make their life better, like Mr.
Nice.
Beast does, to help garner more attention. The one thing I will say that I've been noticing lately, and you might be seeing it in some of my content, is I'm putting stuff on there that almost kind of has a negative connotation, like watch Jay step in a pile of dog shit, or
Yes.
watch this installer fall off the edge of the thing. And what I'm realizing after 6 years of spending a lot of time shooting what I thought was good content is most of the people out there, I think, are encouraged by seeing stuff that's really negative, to be honest with you. Like they're anxious to see somebody get hurt, or like I think
Dude,
they just want to see the fall. Like it's one thing to
so
pick people up, but they really want to see the fall.
have you seen
They
those
do.
ones where it shows like a guy like on a parachute or on a hang glider and says, "This guy's rope is about to break. Oh my God." And then it says, then he fell. And then it shows he fell in a swimming pool by this company. And then it leads on to the pitch.
Yeah.
I just watched one the other day. And I was like, holy crap, that is incredible. We got to figure out how to get that done in the next round.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's trickery, but you know, there's some gamesmanship involved in some of this stuff. So I'm trying everything different to help ramp up viewership, more followers, of course. But I just want to tighten everything up. And I definitely want to do more of this. I really enjoy doing the podcast thing. Brandon's like the first person that I've been able to in the last 2 or 3 years that is like addicted to it or obsessive about it as much as I am. And so I'm very grateful for that. And I'm hoping we get to do a lot more of it.
Is this year the
Yep.
year you hire someone to do full-time social media for you?
100%. 100%. I've been kicking that can for long, but I'm going to finally invest in it. I'll hold myself accountable. Before the end of the first quarter, I will have
First quarter.
somebody on
Okay.
staff.
Okay.
Yeah.
First
Yeah.
quarter. All
By
right.
the end, before the end of the first quarter.
All right. All right.
Otherwise, I will do one of these podcasts. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to have somebody before the end of the first quarter.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
There
All
we go.
right. Well, unless there's anything else you guys want to talk about, I think this was a really good podcast. Again, I hope both of you have healthy and happy Christmas, and probably do this again sometime next year. Although we might be able to do one more podcast, Brando, if you want, before the end of the year, if you have time.
Yeah, of course.
I'm always
Wait,
available.
you got some ideas or what?
Not yet, but I'll come up with something.
Okay. Well,
Actually,
you guys,
I do have a couple ideas kicking around.
all right, we'll get so thank you everybody for watching the podcast. Good night and happy holidays. Okay.